All right, guys, happy Monday, April 21st. There's probably people that are traveling right now, still spending time with their family, took some time off for Easter. 100%, I get that. My hope is that you guys had an amazing Easter weekend. Whether or not you celebrate Easter, my hope is that you spent some good time with the family. We made a ham. We had a breakfast charcuterie board, which was absolutely incredible. And then I hopped on a flight yesterday at 4 p.m. to come over to Arizona, and then I'm back at 4 p.m. today. So less than 24 hours I was here, or I am going to be here. So really excited to be able to spend time with the family, and hopefully you guys had some really good time and made some great memories. So I'm going to bring it, or have somebody bring us out on the field, and I'm going to ask this person a very tough question. So Blessing, since you are here, now you're stationary, you got your spot ready. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to have you bring us out on the field. I'm going to try to switch this up weekly. So Blessing, the question to you is, first off, good morning, greetings and salutations to you. The question is, what was the hardest thing that you did last week? What made it so hard, and how'd you feel after you accomplished it? Let's roll.
Well, good morning and happy Monday. The hardest thing that I did last week is I took action on what I shared on Friday. As far as just really confronting the self-sabotage trend that I have personally, that's also showing up professionally, and looking at what's actually on my plate. So I did go ahead and book the complimentary call that I had with the coach that's willing to walk through the personal that is spilling over into professional. It was hard simply because I had to really acknowledge the fact that this is something that can no longer be in my life if I want to be able to get to the next stage. And also redefining, when I said that on the other side of success, what that actually meant for me was really just on the other side of being able to rest and breathe and allow myself to feel everything that's going on. The anniversary of my dad's death was on Thursday, and I felt like I could just barrel through that. Clearly, that was not the case. So confronting and acknowledging that we're not perfect, but we can execute at a high level, carrying all of our trauma and baggage. That was very confronting, but I did take the steps forward on that. So I am leading my week off knowing that I've got that call scheduled, and I get to choose how I show up every day until then.
Let's go. Let's go. And you know what? Our hearts go out to you. Once again, love, light, positive energy. You guys feel free to send Blessing a message, drop it here in the chat. But really appreciate you always setting the tone, always speaking from the heart, but also always speaking from a place where, how can I take some action from this? And so hats off to you, hats off to your growth. So I really, really appreciate your message. And I want to share something with you guys really quick. I got a bunch of things to pull up on the screen here today, but I want to share something with you. I was reminded of this the other day, and let me just go ahead and share my screen. Boom, bam, we're in. And I think that it goes perfectly with what Blessing just told us. Ashley, I'm going to have you read this out loud for the group. Go ahead and take yourself off of mute, and let's go ahead and have you share this. Ashley, you there?
Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it. Okay, I can see
Awesome.
it now. Every successful person you admire survived a season you didn't see. Ain't
Right,
that the
like
truth?
all right, so share your sentiment and narrative on that, and then we'll keep cruising.
I think we're always looking at like the peak of the mountain. We see everybody's success and it's like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. But you don't see the trauma. You don't see the hard work, the long hours, or maybe a season that they had a really hard time that they had to overcome and overcome and overcome, that taught them that work ethic to get where they are. Most, if not all, of the successful people that I really admire have gone through a really hard season and made them the type of people who they are.
Yeah, 100%. Anybody else want to share their vantage point or narrative on that short little quote before we get into some additional slides? Let's go, Aaron. What do you got from a big dog?
It reminds me of something I heard Cat Williams saying on, I think, the Theo Von show, where he was like, every hero like had these problems. And so if you're looking up to people, and you're thinking that they didn't have any problems, you're wrong. Like, so chase your dreams and do what you need to do, because it does seem hard. And that's I heard somebody else say, like, planes need resistance to fly, right? And so when you're about to hit something, you're going to feel resistance. You're going to feel all these hard things. And a lot of people will just be like, oh, it's too hard, it's quits. I think I've heard that in this call, in these sessions, where people where we're talking about how, you know, when we're faced with challenges, sometimes we just give in or we keep pushing. And that's kind of what it seems like. It's that we think like Steve Jobs and all these guys are just there because they're awesome, but they had to push through some serious things and had to do some tough things to get to where they're at. And there's no reason why none of us can do the same.
Appreciate you, big dog. Thank you. Let's go Blessing, then we'll go Darrell. And huge congratulations to Darrell. Is it Darrell or Daryl?
Surprisingly, you said it right, Darrell.
Okay.
Everybody always
right,
say Daryl, but you said Darrell.
Okay, I
Surprisingly,
just want to make sure. All right, but he just passed his exam, so let's give him a giant round of applause. Actually, while I got you off of mute, let's go to you first, and then we'll go to Blessing. So let's go, Darrell.
Well, similar to what Aaron said when he said everybody get close and then just give up, and I just remind me of Think Rich, Grow Rich. 3 feet from gold. You know, that's favorite saying, 3 feet from gold. And everybody always dig, try to do something. Then it get hard. Then they quit and give up or go somewhere different. And they was just 3 feet from gold. They would have just stuck it out. And more often than not, the time when it's the hardest, that's actually an indication that it's gonna come. But people, you know, can't stick it out. Then, you know, they give up 3 feet from gold.
Man, I absolutely love that. 3 feet from gold. I absolutely love that. Blessing, what do you got? And then Vernon, I want you to chime in a second. I'll tell you why I want you to chime in specifically. So hang tight. I'm going to pass the mic over to you after Blessing, but I want to share something with the group. Let's go, Blessing.
The sentiment that you have echoed and just encouraged us all to keep in mind is that you are rewarded in public for what you do in private. So it is always the internal, quiet things that no one will ever see. It's the shots on the court when no one else is around. It's the script role play, the script reading. It's reading the disclosure packet. It's doing the RPA work. It's all of those things that you do in private that show in public that people always see. So no matter what's going on in life, just know that that private, dark, quiet time is what's preparing you for the future and preparing you to be quote unquote successful.
Love it as always. I'm going to turn it over to Vernon. The reason why this conversation came up, and it's really relevant and it's important, is that we have a dear friend. Some of you have seen her face before. Her name's Lindsay Stevens. Now, for the last 17 years, Lindsay Stevens has tried to get into the Boston Marathon. And if you're a runner, if you know anything about the Boston Marathon as well as the New York Marathon, it's a very, very tough race to get into. There's about 30,000 people that are allowed to run that race every single year, and there's hundreds of thousands of people that apply to run that. Now, she's up early in the morning, 12 degrees, 10 degrees. She's out there running. She's sending Vernon and I pictures of her out there running. We're like, you are absolutely crazy. And she says, I'm crazy on purpose. Like, I'm constantly walking towards all these hard things, these things that are pushing me, these things that are breaking me. And like, she accepts it. She walks into it. And she was literally my inspiration over this last week as I'm looking and planning and developing things for you guys and, you know, hitting the road and all these things. And she was the one that inspired this whole talk about doing harder things and what was the hardest thing that we did last week and what was the result and what are you standing in the way of, or what's the hard thing that you're thinking about doing and you're not doing. If you did that, the positive impact it would have. So much of these thoughts come from our dear friend Lindsay. So Vernon, you were on that call with her last week. You've spent a lot of time with her. So I'd love to get your sentiment on that quote and then we'll get rolling. Let me pull that back up one more time. Here we go. Vernon, you there?
Yes,
there we are.
I am there. Yes, I am. I'm reading it again. Man. Well, I mean, speak in the sentiment of Lindsay, you know, we don't see the fire that everyone goes through that places them in the place of shine. Right? We don't see that pruning. We don't see that polishing. We don't see that what the struggles and the sacrifices that people make. Lindsay in particular, like you said, Elias, she is in shorts and a tank top in the snow to her ankles, running like it's sunny in California to get to the Boston Marathon, just like everybody else on this call, man. All of us have experienced some degree of success in one capacity or another, but very few of us have witnessed the shit that each of us had to step through to get to where we are today. And so when you see someone struggling or when you see someone shining, take some time to acknowledge the shit that they went through to get to that, even if you never see it, because you know that it takes mess to create a message. And so powerful, powerful, Elias. Good to be back in the space and see everybody's face. Yeah, that's what I've got, brother.
Man, I absolutely love that. You said it takes a mess. What, say that quote again?
It takes us to walk through a mess to create the message.
Man, I love that. Absolutely love that. Next time you look up to somebody or you see somebody that's doing something that you truly want to do in life, business, health, and relationships, ask that person, what did you have to go through in order to have the life that you have right now? What were some of the sacrifices that you had to go through in order to have the life that you have now, right? Being married for 25 years, what are some of the hardest lessons? What were some of the hardest conversations that you guys had to have, and how have you grown so much? What does communication look like, right? How many of you have been married for a long amount of time? Please raise your hand. Is that shit easy? No, it's not easy. It takes communication. It takes compromise. It takes swallowing your own thoughts of being right, right? Like, it takes support. It takes unconditional. There's so many things that go into it. And so when you see somebody successful on a level that you would like to be successful, ask that person, what did you have to go through in order to have the life that you have right now? And hear about their struggles, because I promise you, there is so much power in their struggle, and you'll hear it be like, oh, okay. Great, great. I'm not alone, right? You're not alone on this journey of success wherever you're going and whatever you're doing. So I'm going to shift the gears, you guys. I want to share a couple things with you. And we have been doing this over the last week, and I did this in person, but I feel that it'd be important for us to start talking about this here. Now, if you're a guest at Keep It Moving today, it's okay. Some of this stuff will not apply to you if you're a lender. However, everything that I'm going to talk about right now is centered around putting the consumer first. If you were at training last week, we talked about clear cooperation, what that means to our industry, and how EXP has taken a locked arm stance with Zillow. And I love this. And now you're seeing it go head to head on the internet. You see what Compass is saying, you see what other brokerages are saying, but at the end of the day, this is going to impact the buyers and sellers out there in the most positive way. And if we want to take a stance as we want to help the consumers, I think that there's no better way. So I just paraphrased some of the things that was done in a presentation last week from our CEO, Leo Pareja and Holly. And so I want to pull some of this up. You guys feel free to, take some notes, take some screen grabs of this, but I'm actually going to give you the recording in just a minute. So you don't have to worry about taking all this stuff, because it's already in a QR code that's going to come up in a couple slides. So 2008 virtual offer, VOW, which stated the NAR has provided for brokers to exclude certain listings from their websites. DOJ forced a change to ensure equal access to data for all brokers. Now, in 2020, a lot of things changed in our industry, and clear cooperation went into effect, stating that the National Association of Realtors is a rule requiring all listings within 1 day of public advertising be put into the MLS. Now, when we think about just that right there, that, okay, we need to put it into the MLS. Well, if we put it into the MLS, but we're not putting it on the public portals, who does that benefit? Anybody take themselves off of mute? Let's have a conversation. If you put it on the on the multiple listing service, right? Who has access to it? Us. Who pays for it? Us. But that doesn't go on a private portal. Who does that benefit? Take yourself off of mute. That's a very simple question. Who does that benefit? Somebody take themselves off of mute. You know the answer to this.
Potential buyers?
it impacts the potential buyers negatively. Why? Because they do not get to see this information at a broader scale. And if our approach in our industry is all centered around how can we put the consumer first, well, if it's just brokerage to brokerage and it's kept secret and it's kept only if you could access this website internally, or only if you pay to be a part of the association, consumers don't pay to be a part of that. And if the brokerage states that I'm not going to put it on the public access, on these portals such as Zillow, such as Realtor.com, now that consumer is limiting. And what happens is now the buyers and sellers have for a seller, they have limited exposure, and B, the sellers are not, or the buyers are not seeing all the inventory. So let's continue cruising on here. Now, obviously, there is office exclusive. An office exclusive provides for sellers not ready to go on the MLS for privacy reasons. Now, that will still exist, and obviously we will do what is in the best interest of our sellers. However, this is by a case-by-case basis. There are some sellers out there that are experiencing maybe a death, maybe something happened in their family, maybe it's a private divorce that they don't want public, they don't want their neighbors to know, whatever it is. There is the situations where it's going to be they're not going to want to put it on a public platform. However, I do not see for the masses, for the mass amounts of people, why they wouldn't want to put it on the MLS, or excuse me, on a private portal, or excuse me, a public portal. So Clear Cooperation states this: must be entered into the MLS within 1 business day of public marking. Provide coming soon status, may allow coming soon with showings and no showings. Coming soon may be shared with IDX depending on MLS, and Zillow and Redfin may not show coming soons in their feed, which they're okay with that. But check this out. NAR had a thought and a recommendation that we delay marketing status, and the industry is pushing back against this, and so are we. We're saying that if you put it on the MLS and you do not put it in Zillow within 1 day, then that listing will forever be banned to be put on Zillow and Redfin.com until that listing is canceled and brought on by another brokerage, meaning us. So if Vernon is at Compass and Vernon decides to not put this into Zillow and Redfin within 1 day of putting it on the MLS, that consumer will have their listing sit and it will not be seen by the masses amounts of people. And check this out. This data here is one of the most important things that I wanted to share with you guys today. Total unique visitors. When we look at 41% of all buyers start online, 41% of that. Look at this number. Look at the top line. 96% of buyers use online tools in their search process. So I want you guys to look at this and realize how important of a move this is for EXP, and how this stance against every single other brokerage out there. We don't have to say all the names. We know who they are. That we said no matter what, we want to do what's best for the consumers. We don't want to make sure that this is so coveted amongst us as realtors that it limits the exposure for the sellers as well as the opportunities for the buyers to see new listings in our market. We cannot control the market in that way because that favors us and not them. Before I go any further, anybody have any questions, thoughts, or dialogue on this thus far? And I'll take myself up. All right, so let's go Otis, and then anybody else has any feedback or contributions? If not, we're going to keep cruising. What's up, Otis?
I think this is really big. I think that we need to get our striking boots on and really get out there, because I mean, thank God that we do hold a lot of listings out here in the Bay Area, but what if our potential buyer wants that specific house and it's not there and it's not found and we can't find it? That even takes it to the off-market game. And, a lot of people don't feel comfortable. I know a lot of buyers don't feel comfortable because their first things is, well, why didn't they put it on here? What's wrong with the home? And this and that. So I'm just thinking about all the stuff that it's going to put in my bag that I'm gonna have to use to my potential buyers when it's like that. If this does go like into full effect, like ASAP, heavily on a lot of properties. So I mean, it definitely will. I see that comment. It definitely will bring you into the light as an agent that's out there really looking for it. But I mean, at the end of the day, if big hitters like this, you know, come on board with this could be huge, specifically if we don't join suit, which I don't think we should. But I mean, I think this could be a problem if we don't nip it in the butt or try.
Well, no, so we're already, this is a partnership that we stand with clear cooperation. We stand with clear cooperation. We are not opposing it. Now, there's other brokerages out there, let's say a boutique brokerage that holds a luxury inventory. But also, doesn't that open the door for us to have conversations about fair housing, right? So it's like, I have a listing, but I only showed it to my brokerage, right? Doesn't that limit the amount of consumers that can see it? And doesn't that open our industry up years down the road for lawsuits against fair housing, right? Like, think about this in the very simplest of terms. And I took some notes here. It says, in the future, class action lawsuits will look at the chain of information shared that the only way that information could have been accessed was by a member of an association or a MLS, right? That data was not made publicly. We will not participate in that type of communication. Starting last week, we will not, as a company, EXP, participate in that, because think about the long haul ramifications that can have on a consumer and our industry. We already have a bad rap sometimes. There's already been shitty realtors out there, right? And so why would we want to hold that information? Why do brokerages do this at a high level? Think about it. They want to what? They want to double and more deals. What does that mean for their company? The company makes more dollars. Why? Because they feel that they're more in control. No, I really, really appreciate the stance that EXP is taking and saying, no, we're going to do what's best for the consumer now as well as into the future. On to you had a contribution. We'll go to Patrick, and hopefully you guys find this information helpful. And if you don't, here's the thing. Sometimes we're going to talk about boring things that you guys need to know about, especially for our brokerage, that's going to impact your ability to sell and to buy at a very, very high level. Let's go on to you.
Just a quick question to you. Is Compass the only big brokerage that is kind of leaving, keeping their inventories within themselves?
There's many other ones. The agency does it. Mauricio, that owns the agency in Southern California, went head to head with James Dwiggins. James Dwiggins is, I think it's like a chief economist, and I watched them battle it out on stage at Inman. And Mauricio's like, well, why can't we have this just for our internal network? And James Dwiggins is, why wouldn't we want to open it up to all of the consumers? And we're on the side of James Dwiggins saying, let's just open it up to the consumers instead of only being able to access it because you're a paid member of an association. That's not fair to a consumer. Why shouldn't they see everything? Patrick, you had a contribution. What's good?
Yeah, no, I just want to say that I'm really excited about this change because it's such an easy tool for us to, use towards the sellers and the listing appointments. Like, bro, like, why do you want to go off market? Why do you want to go pocket listing? It's like, like I said last week, it's like inviting or throwing a party and not inviting anyone. Stupid. So I'm really excited about this whole change.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Really appreciate your contribution. Here's some information that came from Leo. This was a report. It's called the T360 Real Estate Almanac. And here's some statistics for you. Anywhere, previously known as Realogy, owns 7 brands representing 180,000 realtors in the United States of America. KW represents 145,000 realtors in the United States. EXP is number 3 at 65,000. Berkshire Hathaway and Home Services of America is at 64,000. And then Remax combined with all of their entities is 51,000 realtors throughout the United States of America. So with that being said, 30% of all listings in the US are held by those companies right now. 33% of agents belong to these. So you're saying that there could be a significant amount of listing inventory that is not seen by consumers. We are opening ourselves up for fucking lawsuits in the future. Think about how we got here with, the settlement last year, the NAR settlement, all the changes that we experienced last year. Don't you think if we don't change this now and take a stance as a company, we're just opening the floodgates for future litigation? That's the stance of Leo. And Leo is such an incredible leader. And he is out in front saying, you know what? We're going to control this and be on the side of the consumers, and everyone else could do whatever they're going to do, but we are going to do the right thing. Make sense, everybody? Everybody with me so far? Okay, good. This is valuable information that each of you need to know, and you need to know how to communicate this when you're at the table. So there is exclusive office exclusive listings take longer to sell. So check this out. Median time on market is 20 days for standard listings. 9 out of 10 listings are converted from office exclusive to MLS. Listings that start as office exclusives take a median 37 days to sell. So what that states is that even if you want to do, oh, we're going to do internal, our own network. Okay, wonderful. That typically takes a lot longer and statistically shows that you'll probably make less because you have less exposure. And also, Mr. Seller, if you do choose to go that route with ABC Brokerage, know that if that off-market strategy, internal exclusive marketing within their brokerage doesn't work for you, and you sit on the market for almost 40 days, and you decide that we want to change our formula and go hit the open market and go on Zillow and Redfin, you cannot. You cannot. So I want you to tell me, what strategy do you feel is going to get you the highest net for your property in this situation? You guys, this stuff is golden when you think about the context and how we're going to use it moving forward. Questions, contributions, thoughts, insights, dialogue, anybody. I want you guys to chime in on this because this impacts you directly in a very, very positive way. On to.
I love that we are also setting this because it's the perfect leeway into like the buyer, BRBC. This is just on the seller side to make it clear and just to give more exposure and fairness to the buyers that are not aware of this. So, I mean, the sellers and the buyers are not aware of this. So
Totally.
Amazing.
Appreciate that. Let's go Blessing, then we'll go Aaron, and anybody else that has thoughts or maybe some clarity around this, feel free to throw your hand up. Let's go Blessing.
I definitely think anytime we put the consumer first in the process, especially when realtors have, unfortunately, a negative reputation when it comes to the commission side. I was having a conversation in my small group, Financial Peace, and we got to the real estate section, and it was almost like the instructor didn't want to ask me the question of how do you navigate, well, she tiptoed around it, but it's like, how do you navigate commissions driven versus giving the right information? I was like, that's not a thing. You always give the right information. You always put the consumer first. But we know that the money grab realtor is a stereotype that we have to, combat against. So the more that we talk about clear cooperation and the fact that we are putting it out there for you to see everything on the market, that's only going to help raise our integrity with the public and be able to educate from a stance of, we are here to provide education. We are here to guide you. Yes, the financial is something that we're aware of, but when we put our consumer first, we always win. There was another point I was going to make that I lost, but just always lead with the consumer first. It always works.
Yeah, 100% Blessing. Let's go over to Aaron, and anybody else has a contribution, please throw your hand up and get involved in this conversation. Let's go, Aaron.
Blessing probably said it better than I am, but it's just seems to be common sense. Like it's weird that there's somebody on the other side saying, no, all people shouldn't see what's on the market. And then it's also weird from my standpoint as a homeowner, like, why would I want only a small amount of people to see my house? Like, I want everybody to see my house. So to me, it's strange. And then I think maybe some people are taken back in this group because everybody I've known and talked to in our group, it just seems to be common sense. So I'm glad that I'm with leadership team that it's kind of has common sense. And it just incredibly strange to me that there are people on the other side that are so obsessed with how much money they're going to get that they're not doing what's right for the overall consumer and community. And again, the industry, because like Blessing was saying, this is stuff that we have to overcome all the time. I mean, the people, when you go in there, fully intending to help people and you have a mindset where you're here to serve, but people are still looking at you funny, that's a weird thing, but that's something that was created because of greed and weird stuff like this. So just do to people what you would want to be done to yourself, and the world would be such a easier place to navigate.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And here's the thing, you guys, some companies, this is their business model, right? The business model is that we're going to keep this in-house. Then our hope is that we can double end it and we can expose you to our network. Well, no network is ever going to compare to Zillow or Redfin. Never, right? There's just never a network that's going to compare to that. And no matter what you say, how many people you have at your brokerage, I don't care where you're at, it can never compare to Zillow. And if we were on the side of this, if we were on the other side of clear cooperation, then what we would be doing is we would try to battle that. Oh, well, we're one of the largest brokerages out there, more units than any other company out there. Still, our network is not as large as Redfin and Zillow. Let's go Demian, let's go Evangeline.
Yeah, no, just wanted to echo again how positive of a change I think this will be for all of us, because there are specifically San Francisco is what I want to use as an example of this. There's a lot of brokerages in the city that have these pocket listings, or they'll put them on the MLS as coming soon. So, you know, you never really know when it's active. It's just a lot of gatekeeping that's unnecessary from a competition standpoint. But on their side, like you said, they're trying to either double end or they're trying to show how valuable their network is against everybody else's. So it just makes it a little more fair in my estimation. So I like it.
Yeah, 100%. Let's go Evangeline. What do you got for us?
I just wanted to clarify here. So what I got from what you said is that if it goes on the MLS within 1 day, it needs to go onto Zillow, right? But is there any kind of repercussions? Because I know like there are some brokerages where it doesn't even hit the MLS. They're totally advertising it in like with their sphere, with their friends, with whatever, a true pocket listing, and it goes on the MLS is just sold. You know, oh, on the market 1 day, sold. Is there some type of repercussions for that or no?
So as of right now, I don't know what the repercussions are going to be if that does happen. The repercussions would have been for the seller that listing could never been put on an open portal. However, I don't know if there's going to be a fine or if there's a penalty. I don't have that answer yet, so I don't have an opinion on that.
Okay, got it. Thanks for clarifying.
Yep. So let me show you a couple additional things, you guys, and then we'll keep cruising. All right, so access for all. 91% of buyers want access to all listings. Limiting access is limiting opportunity. Keeping listings private or only sharing with some buyers may lead to fair housing claims. Once again, you guys, this is something that the company is so astute about, and they're looking down the road, like what are the ramifications and what could potentially come from this in a negative way in our industry, and we will not stand for it. And then this here, you guys, you all have access to it, and I'll put the QR code up in a second. And what this does is this is something that we have made as a company that we're actually sharing with other brokerages out there. And it's designed to educate sellers in off-market or limited marketing situations, and it empowers sellers as a strategy, and it gives us choice and conversations to have, you know, with their own agent. So even if they just look at this and say, hey, I want to prep you for the meeting that you're having tomorrow with Johnny from ABC Company. Whether or not if they tell you that they're going to market it internally and they're going to do this, you know, internal marketing campaign because they have an amazing network, know that that strategy is going to hinder you. And the seller advisory form documents that and lays that out. And so I want you guys to go over this. This is not a binding contract. This is an advisory document that shares with the consumer the ramifications and potential loss of income, and obviously losses of exposure if they do choose to go this route and do not put it on the open market. This is such a wise document, and I'm so glad that EXP did this for you guys. Now, we believe in consumer choice with education and, we believe in consumer choice with education for sellers and buyers. If you don't have it yet, and if you've missed the email, here's the QR code. All the information about Clear Cooperation and everything that we're doing as a company is right here. But I'm also going to hook you up. So hang tight really quick. I'm going to do this really quick. Now, if you're a guest on the line, this isn't that applicable. However, there's not many guests on the line today. Here's the cool thing. Each of you, and you guys should be moving. If you already know that if you have this and cool, you shouldn't be moving. But this whole new seller toolkit and this video right here, where I took most of the information that I'm sharing today, is a must watch. It is a must watch, but you need to watch it and take notes and be clear on this. And you know what else is really, really cool about this is that you guys have, let me go here. Let me go up. Where is it? Scripts. There is so many good scripts in here and talking points. You guys, this is about concessions. This is about off market. This is agent. This is you talking to the seller. Buyer script for sellers in a buyer's market. There is a script in here for scripts for sellers in a seller's market. You guys, all kinds of dialogue and different things that you guys could be reading about just to up your game. So I'm going to put this in the chat down below. That way you guys have it. And then it is always there for you. And let me just pull this up. Copy. All right, cool. And I'm going to put this down in the chat below. Boom. And now you have it. All right. Pretty cool stuff, right? You guys, this impacts us at a very, very high level. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of what is going on and that you guys are prepared with the dialogue. Just like we did last year, just like we had the conversations about the BRBC, explaining compensation, explaining agency relationship, we're going to continue to talk about this until that conversation is fluid. So we're going to shift gears, but before we do so, anybody have any thoughts, questions, contributions, insight on this? Or give me some type of reaction that you guys are excited about what's to come for our company. Blessing, is that a hand up or is that a reaction?
It's a hand up. As you were speaking to, I was thinking that this is actually a great door knocking campaign for areas that you want to farm and just to put the information out, because just like last year with the BRBC, whoever is the one talking about it first gets to set the tone and be the expert on the topic for their audience for our area. So this would be just something to, put out there as an advisory and set yourself up to be the subject matter expert on clear cooperation.
You guys, there's I want to encourage somebody on this call, multiple people, to make a reel about this. Now, we brought this up last week, and let's see here. Where is it? Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Hold on a second. So Jared James did a really, really good video on this. Right here. All right. So you guys can go to Jared James's wall right now. This document that EXP created, he did a whole breakdown of what this means. And you can see our president saying, thank you for the shout out, my friend. You were spot on. Let's keep the consumer's needs at the forefront. It's pretty straightforward. So here's a really good example of something that you can do as a realtor, because not all of your consumers are following Jared James. Jared James is for us. I believe that he speaks directly to our industry, but a lot of consumers are not following him to get advice from him. So I would recommend that you guys watch this video, get some inspiration from it, and say, you know what? I'm going to create the same style video to my audience. Here's the video down below that we have it just for a quick reference. But you guys, really, really good example of what you can do with this information and how you can create some cool content around it. Make sense? All right, cool. So let's do this, you guys. We have a few more minutes. Obviously, I want to go into action for the week. Let's go to, let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go to the board. Let me pull my screen up. All right, cool. So let's go to the board. Go to the board exercise is what is going to move the needle in your business this week. I don't want excuses. I don't want bullshit. I don't want your stories. Like, what are you going to do this week to move the needle in your business? And what is the hard thing this week that you're committed to doing no matter what? One hard thing that you are committed to doing this week. I don't care if it's not eating carbs until Saturday. I don't care if it's working out 5 days a week, intermittent fasting, knocking on those doors, dropping 3 videos. I don't care what it is. I want to know what's going to move the needle in your business, just the numbers, and what's the one hard thing that you're committed to accomplishing this week. I need 3 people to get in the queue for this conversation. If you don't raise your hand, I'm just going to call on you. All right, so I got Stephanie, who's not a realtor, but is a light in our environment. All right, so I got more than I expected. Stephanie, Jamie, Maori, Patrick. Let's roll, Stephanie.
Morning, everyone. So I wanted to share what we're doing this week. The Money Store, Wednesday, we're going to have a DPA masterclass for all of you realtors to come in so we can teach you about all the different down payment assistance programs that are out there. You guys are boots on the ground. You have that first interaction with customers. So it's really important that you know what's available to you. So we're actually going to have a guest speaker from Cal Haffa come in as well. I'm super excited. We're going to go over all the different types of programs, how quickly we can do them so that you can still use them and stay competitive in this market. So all the Money Store girls will be there. We'll be presenting to you guys. So it's going to be really great. Wednesday, 10 to 12. Hope to see you there. And what I'm committed to doing this week is I need to work out. I need to move my ass. I'm always just walking around on the computer, on the phone, taking care of the dogs, the kids, but I don't work out, and I need to get on that because I'm almost 40, turning 40 in August, and I need to stop messing around. All right, mama got to stay healthy because I'm trying to be around and watch these grandkids. One day, no time soon, but
I love this, but we're going to make this harder right now. You say that I need to work out, and I'm going to do the hard thing. Commit right here to this group how many times this week Mama Bear is going to move her ass.
4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to encourage you to put those on your story.
Okay, I will. And if you guys don't see me, call me out. Steph, what are you doing with your life? What the hell?
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Vernon,
yeah.
you heard it. KD, you heard it. Christina, you heard it. Jessica, Brandy, Jacob, everyone here, you guys heard it. And I love what you guys are doing with this workshop this week. It is really, really powerful for us to be able to come in and get a concentrated update on what are all the programs. I think this is powerful, good stuff. Unfortunately, I can't make it because Vernon and I are out of town, but I love this and hopefully all of you guys can attend. Let's go, Jamie. What do we got for them? Numbers, and then what is the one hard thing that you're committed to accomplishing this week?
Okay, the one hard thing is for me to go back on all the houses that I door knocked 2 weeks ago and to follow up with them. So that's hard because I put out the door knockers, say, hey, I'm an agent in your neighborhood. So I'm going to go back and follow up on all those. Out of those knocking, I did get a listing appointment that I'm going on Wednesday. So I have that appointment from a lady who was like, what do you want? I'm so tired of you realtors calling me. I said, I can understand that you're tired of that, but this is what I do. And I talked to her and her resistance went down. So I have an appointment with her tomorrow or Wednesday, one of the days. So going back over those door knocks and to follow up with them is a hard thing to do because I put something out there like being passive aggressive. So being more aggressive in front of people, that's a hard thing. And then also I'm with Stephanie on working out more.
All right. Working out more does not land for me. I want a number.
Okay. I will say 4 days a week.
Let's just go this week. 4 days this week.
4 days this week, yes.
And I don't care if it's walk, run, cycle, whatever it is. 30 minutes of exercise, move your body, sweat a little bit. So many good things come from that. Jamie, I appreciate your contribution. Let's keep rolling. Patrick, what do you got for them? Numbers, no excuses, no bullshit. And then what's the one hard thing that you're committed to accomplishing this week? Let's go, Patrick. Then Maori, you're up next.
Yep. First thing is the hard part, I guess. I'm going to start my first week of farming. I've never farmed before, but I decided, you know what, better start now than never. So I called up a title rep that I really, I collaborated with, and she got me an absentee list and, owner occupied list. I'm going to be collaborating with Luis, David, and some other people tomorrow morning around 9 to 12, and we're going to do cold callings for all those lists and then really start door knocking too this week. But I think the hardest part this week, which I'm going to commit to, is really re-engaging my social media and really get back to it. I've been slacking on it for a couple months, and you know what I mean? I need to get better on that. So for this week, I'm at least going to do 5 reels for this week and really get that, consistency up, because you know what I mean? We're trying to just get our leads from social media. That's the easiest thing,
And Patrick, I absolutely love this. So glad that you're healthy. I think you should personally tell that story of what happened to you last week and that you went back in twice. I think it's a really powerful message just to show how human you are and the things that you were going through all the grind. But when you're sitting down and you're planning your farm, you need to look 12 to 18 months out, right? This is a long haul play. So it's just like, what am I going to do for door knocking, for seasonal, for mailers, for community updates? Like I'm literally going to structure this for the whole month. So or for the whole year, or 18 months. So every single month on the 15th, here's what I'm doing in my farm. Oh, I'm sending my seasonal things out. Oh, shoot, that month is Thanksgiving. So everything is planned. It is calculated. You know your spend. Some months you'll knock, some months you'll door knock, or excuse me, you'll send your mailers so you can, have a budget to do everything throughout the year. So plan it out right, 12 to 18 months. So I'm super, super stoked for you, and I'm glad that you're feeling healthy. Let's go, Mary. Mary, what do you got for them? And you got to put your camera on when you contribute. Let's roll. Going once, going twice. All right, Jessica, you're up next. We'll come back to Mary.
Hey, so anyways, I got my first listing, signed deal. And
Let's
we're gonna
go.
do open house this weekend, getting all this week with staging and all that good stuff. And so my commitment is basically up my social media, because obviously you are right, it does work. People
Wait,
see me.
Jessica, what'd you say?
I know my husband always says, wait a minute, did you hear? Wait, I want to hear that again. I'm like, you were right. Okay. I can admit when I am wrong.
Jessica, you know what? Thank you for seeing the lights.
It took a minute. It took a minute. But
it
I'm
took
here.
over a year.
I'm here. No. It hasn't been a year.
Okay. Listen, I could not be more excited for you. And listen, you guys, this is not theory. Keep it moving is not theory. These things are market tested. I know what works. I've seen it too many times in my career. So Jessica, I'm super, super stoked for you.
So what I do want to do though, besides the social media, is because this lady has lived in the house for 50 years and the previous owner was her parents. They know the whole history of the whole neighborhood. So what I'm committed to doing is just hitting the whole entire neighborhood.
You know what? I love this. And I would do a really cool timeline, like a storyboard, like the Anderson family moved in 1951. Their family inherited it. And so it's like a story, like you've seen storyboards when you go into a listing, but like do this cool, like timeline of the family and the impact and like go and meet all the neighbors. You're going to get so much rich information that you then could use on video also with your dialogue with the people that come to the open house. This is a huge opportunity.
That's a great idea.
Love it, Jessica. Good to see your face. Let's go to Maori. Maori, what do you got for us?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Just looking at Elias looking at me like, what you got, girl?
I wasn't even looking at you, but go on.
Thank you. And I just wanted to piggyback on Jessica's comment. Yes, you're right, Elias. I'm rolling my eyes. I had to get out of my comfort zone, meaning like just feeling entitled, where I'm just going to sit around and not do anything and my calls will be ringing. So I had to snap out of that. And this weekend I did an open house for one of our office colleagues. Sonny's listing on 34th. Got a lead from that. So that's pretty amazing. Also the, uncomfortable question of calling my past clients and asking for, leads and like just checking in and trying to help their kids, multi-generational families, just getting out of my comfort zone and doing the things that I usually, in my mind, tell myself I shouldn't be doing it because, quote unquote, I've been doing this for a long time. So that's the wrong attitude. So I've accepted that. So yeah, just, doing the stuff that you would have to do to just, generate leads and keep moving and shaking and not just sit around and not do anything about it or just talking about it. So taking action, getting out there and getting my ass out and, getting my walks in. So thank you so much, you guys, for the motivation.
I love this for you, Mary, because
Thank you.
you've been in the game for a long time. But the worst that we can do in this game is rest on our laurels, right?
Yes.
Like we got to
Correct.
continuously do hard things. And sometimes the hard things are doing the things that we haven't done for a while. And it's a
Correct.
reminder of like, wow, I used to do this and I really got a lot of
Yep.
business from this. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for you.
Thank you. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Lisa,
Sure.
bring us home on this. Let's see what you got. Let's go. You're muted still.
Okay, good morning. So a couple things. I have a seller workshop on Thursday at the Fairfield office. So we are doing a right sizing workshop, you know, whether you're downsizing, upsizing, whatever it is, right? And so did lots of door knocking, got a couple of leads from the door knocking this last week on that. And my hard commitment is sticking to my calorie consumption and macros this week because my workouts are on point. The eating habits are wavering. So that is my commitment because the workouts I can crush that all day long. Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. So, my hard thing is I'm going to continue. So I'm going to fast for 30 days. So I'm doing a 16 and 18 or 16 and 8. So I fast for 16 and then I eat for 8 hours. And so that in itself, you know, I already feel better. I feel like I'm losing excess weight. And so, Lisa, really, really good stuff. I'm here for this. So you guys, great contributions today. You know, as we know more about clear cooperation and other things that are impacting us and the consumers, I'll do my very best to narrate. Now, I'm no expert by any means. I'm just reading it. So make sure that you guys go down that rabbit hole, read, and make sure that you're perfecting your dialogue and how you articulate these things to the consumer. Let's go around the room, get a couple key takeaways. Let's go, Christina Macias. Let's go to you. One key takeaway from our time together today. And KD, I'd like to get one contribution from you as well. One key takeaway from our time together. Let's go, Christina.
I think I love that we talked about how everything is about the consumer, and with this new clear cooperation, it's just another thing that we can use to our benefit. And so that was really huge for me because I feel like a lot of people are thinking about selling, moving, relocating. So it's like, what gives us the edge? And this is going to be my leading point. So that's what I took away today.
Steph, Christina, I love it. Katie, what do you got for us, big dog? One key takeaway from our time together today.
Just like Christina said, same thing, like, that's some new information to me as well, and definitely leveraging that. And because I will be going on a listing appointment this week as well, so I'm definitely going to be bringing that up to my clients as well and see how they react, because I was not familiar with the Compass side of it and the agency you brought up as well. So it's always great to be on these calls because there's new information coming up and like you get to learn a lot. So yeah, I would say for sure about the Clear Corporation, and I'm going to be making.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, my man. And you know, it's really cool meeting your daughter. She is absolutely adorable, bro. Good stuff. Did you get her plastic keys?
I did not. I mean, we have it, but she goes for the car keys. She's like, she went to the open house with us as well. Everybody loves her over there too, so she's gonna be.
Oh, I bet.
She did her debut on one of her listings videos and stuff, so we're gonna be posting that.
I love this. I love this. All right, Vernon, last contribution of our session, my man. One key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today.
Just make up your mind and do it, whatever that looks like. Personally, professionally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Make up your mind. There's a difference between a choice and a decision. You can choose to do something and stay stagnant, or you can decide to do something and get in motion. Don't choose, decide, make a decision, and then be at peace with that. That's what I got.
And I appreciate it. You guys, this week and every week, go out there and do hard things, right? I'm constantly trying to do more hard things because I want to walk into the fire, right? I never want to experience any type of comfort at all. And I'm gonna harness the energy of Lindsay out there. She's running right now, 26.2 miles. She's been prepping and planning and preparing. And I promise you, as soon as she's done finishing that race today, She's already thinking about the next hard thing that she's going to do. I promise you, on her run, she's already thinking about what can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do next? And I want the same thing for you. Hard to make video? Yeah. Hard to prospect? Yeah. Hard to work out? Yeah. But so is being overweight and having health problems. So is being broke. Those things are hard too. So go out there and make the right choices this week. Choose your own hard, you guys. Walk into the fire. You are firemen and firewomen. We appreciate you guys. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and get out there and make this a week that matters. Peace.